When Ben Simmons plays the 5, he might be the second best passing big in the NBA. And if he's not the best, he's definitely the most dynamic. Ben Simmons was once known as the most unique point guard in the NBA, and now he's being used as a big in some of Brooklyn's lineups. And this move might just highlight his best skill, his passing. Today we're diving into why Simmons is best when he's at the 5 and what makes him so different and dynamic. I'm Anthony Goods, the Stanford Gentleman turned NBA scout, and if you have 1 second, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and please continue to support the channel. As a scout, our job is to spot specific talents and innovate creative ways to make it work. I know there's a vision of what we all want Ben Simmons to be, but we have to look at Ben Simmons for what he is now. And this season, he's been playing a lot of minutes as a big for Brooklyn. When we think of great passing bigs, players like Nikola Jokic and Domantas Sabonis often come to mind, but Ben Simmons brings something entirely different to the table: his ability to pass on the move. That's rare for a player his size. Simmons' transition from being a primary ball handler to a 4-5 secondary ball handler in Brooklyn is perfect for his game right now. He had a similar role with Philly at times, playing as a 4, especially in the playoffs. That team had a roster with skill sets that complemented each other, and that is when Ben was his best statistically and also health-wise. To fully grasp Ben's impact today, it's impossible to ignore what he was before. His role today is a little similar, but he's playing much more at the 5 with Brooklyn. At 6'10" with elite court vision, he's always been a mismatch problem. Now as a big, he's able to bring a rare skill set to a position that isn't used to seeing this type of athleticism and passing. As a 5, you have to deal with him initiating possessions and running a lot of dribble handoffs. In DHO, he's a threat to penetrate, which keeps the defense honest. And he's a reliable passer in split actions or more complex DHO sets. I also like him as a screener. He makes contact, and I think because he was a guard, he takes pride in getting guards open. And as a 5'4" pick and roll distributor, he's elite. It's such a dangerous pick and roll set when you have the right pieces. These are all areas where he can exploit defenses with his passing ability. Now let's talk numbers. Ben Simmons ranks top 5 in the entire NBA in assists per 100 possessions. And even if you switch the statistics to per 36 minutes, he's still top 5 in the entire NBA. Compared to other big men in these two categories, he only trails Nikola Jokic. That's elite company. What's even more impressive is that he still ranks pretty high even though he's playing fewer minutes, which is likely due to Brooklyn managing his workload after past injuries. Simmons isn't just padding his stats with easy kickouts either. He's creating open looks with his on-the-move passing, threading the needle in transition, dropping dimes out of drives, and hitting cutters with pinpoint accuracy. What separates Ben Simmons from other bigs is how dynamic he is. Most bigs are stationary passers, and they operate out of the high post or survey the floor from the perimeter. Simmons, on the other hand, is attacking the paint, keeping defenses scrambling, and finding teammates while on the move. It's a different kind of pressure that most bigs simply don't create. He's able to flatten the defense because he's always a threat to put pressure on the rim with his foot speed and the ball in his hands. Now, Brooklyn is in a rebuilding phase, so the talent around Ben Simmons is limited, but here's a big question. How good could he be with more weapons around him? Imagine Simmons surrounded by elite shooters and a high-level pick-and-roll partner. His ability to facilitate will be on full display in a more structured offense. Because of his speed and quickness as a big, the defending bigs and forwards will often play further back than normal. This frees Ben up to be a dangerous screener for pick-and-roll pull-ups and open threes. Ben is most dangerous as a big when pushing in transition. With Ben pushing the ball so much in transition and delayed breaks, instead of your big running to protect the rim, he has to play higher on the floor. This opens up opportunities for guards to use their speed on the backside and create layups at the rim. Brooklyn is lucky to have another forward/big that can stretch the floor, so when defending bigs have to help on Ben's penetration, it creates wide open shots for Clowney. Also, whereas most bigs are dangerous floating around and cutting from the dunker spot or pick and roll, Ben is also dangerous as a cutter from the perimeter. And though Ben isn't scoring that much this season, he's still a threat to get downhill and score at the rim. All of this creates pressure and collapses the defense, even if he just scores 1 or 2 times. You can see he still has speed and strength when you see how he's moving these bigs and forwards. He's physical and finishing with both hands. That's everything you would want from somebody at the 5 spot. Another benefit of Ben playing the 5 is on the defensive end. In today's NBA, teams are looking for bigs that can switch and defend on the perimeter. With the rise of pick and roll heavy offenses and stretch bigs, having a center or a forward who can switch on the guards and wings is a massive advantage. And this is where Simmons really stands out. But not only just switching, it's beneficial to have a big that can get out and rotate and contest open threes as well. Simmons' combination of size, lateral quickness, and defensive instincts make him a nightmare matchup for opposing players. Unlike traditional bigs who might struggle outside the paint, Simmons is comfortable guarding almost any position. With NBA bigs seemingly getting smaller, this plays into Ben's strengths. This versatility allows Brooklyn to mix up their defensive schemes and stay competitive even against small ball lineups. His ability to defend on the perimeter not only makes him a unique asset, but also perfectly complements his passing. Think about the number of times we've seen Ben Simmons get a stop on defense, grab the rebound, and then immediately push the pace in transition. That's a skill set you rarely see in a player labeled as a big. In fact, his defensive versatility adds even more value to his role. A big who can pass and switch on to smaller players without being a liability is a dream to any NBA team. It's exactly what front offices are looking for in today's positionless basketball. But if he's not a big scorer or he doesn't shoot it well, you gotta have the talent around him. I love to see Ben on a team with a super dynamic guard, and I really think he could serve as kind of like a Draymond is to Steph Curry. And even with a dominant big man like he had with Embiid in Philly, I think Ben could also repeat some of the same success. Of course, injuries have been a concern, and his reduced minutes reflect that. But when Simmons is on the floor, his impact is undeniable. If Brooklyn continues to prioritize his health and surround him with complementary pieces, there's no reason he can't thrive in this new role. Ben Simmons is rewriting his narrative in Brooklyn. A big that can pass like a guard is almost unheard of for that position. With more talent around him and a clean bill of health, the sky's the limit for what he can achieve in this role. Say what you want, but Ben is a high IQ player. But what do y'all think? Would Ben's impact be louder if he was on a better team? Or is he only making an impact because he's on a bad team? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate y'all watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please continue to support the channel, and I appreciate all of y'all. And as always, keep shooting, and I'll keep scouting.